Hello and welcome to the Business Success Podcast with myself, Adriana Cheshire, and
Jonathan Keeble.
And we are really excited to be joined today by Emma Hewitt, the Skills Lead for Plymouth City Council, and also you're responsible for Building Plymouth. So as part of your job, you lead the city's skills agenda, ensuring the delivery of the Skills for Plymouth and Skills Launchpad Plymouth to connect people with opportunities for skills, education, training, careers and jobs. So massively important role that you play. And on top of that, actually in 2022, you won the Women's West Country Award for Most Inspirational Leader. So it's really exciting to have you here with us today. Thank you for joining us on our podcast.
Thank you for the invitation. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, Emma. Really excited. So let's just kick off a little bit, talk a little bit about the Skills Launchpad Plymouth. What was the inspiration for creating this?
Okay, so if I take you back to sort of March 2020, obviously the pandemic hit us hard. And as a city, we rapidly pulled together an economic response team, and we recognised that the people of the city needed support through that difficult time. You know, lots of uncertainty, lots of economic, social challenges. And what we decided is to bring together everything in one place digitally for people that were going through furlough, young people coming out of the education system, or parents really concerned about young people's next steps. And during August 2020, we launched Skills Launchpad Plymouth, which in effect is the city's one-stop shop for skills training, education, careers and jobs. Everything brought together for the very first time to help people navigate during those really difficult times.
So the point is, there's a number of agencies offering the skills and education and services and so forth for young people, for those coming out of work and so forth. What actually makes the Skills Launchpad so unique?
So I think as a city, what we've done is managed to pull everything together and provide a really well organised kind of localised solutions for people.
Yeah.
It goes back to you don't know what you don't know. And as parents trying to find best next steps for young people, or if you're just about to be made redundant or you're just changing careers, it can be a really frightening, scary time. And if we've got amazing training providers across the city and skills agencies who do a brilliant job with loads of great provision. But actually what we wanted to do was bring together a full menu so people could access impartial advice and guidance and really have informed information and then able to make independent decisions about what's right for them. There are often lots of different options available, but what's actually right for that individual. And what we wanted to do, which was package up a service to put the individual at the heart of the experience and everything wrapped around it. Whereas if you go into one kind of training provider or organisation, you are informed about their service, not about the wider city offer. So as a city, we now have this whole kind of offer in one place, which we never had before.
So this is an offering not only virtual, but you can actually turn up at a location as well. Tell us about the location.
Thank you. So it started online because we were all working from our bedrooms, as we'll all remember that awful time. And then as soon as the kind of restrictions lifted for COVID, what we were able to establish was a physical space, because skills is all about people. And actually, we also recognise a lot of individuals had and are going through mental health issues or real concerns about housing and money. And actually, they can be quite difficult conversations to have. And we wanted to create a really safe, friendly environment for people to come through and feel that they were receiving kind of impartial advice and guidance and a real ethical front door that's really inclusive for everyone. So with huge thanks to Barclays Bank in Plymouth, we actually were able and were invited to co-locate with the bank right in the heart of the city centre, which is a dream location, all fully furnished, nothing to pay, and an amazing sort of social value offer and commitment from the bank, who's been simply brilliant.
So that's upstairs, isn't it? When you walk into that bank, because that's a beautifully located and beautifully looking bank, isn't it?
It's perfect.
So it must be a great work atmosphere upstairs and stuff like that. Yeah. You've got the whole floor.
We've got part of the first floor there, but really well furnished, private one-to-one meeting rooms where we can have, those individual conversations, group information spaces. We've got access to a conference room, and the bank have been absolutely fantastic. The great thing about it is it's in the heart of the city centre. Everyone knows where Barclays Bank is. Yeah. Walking distance from the job centres, on all the public transport routes. So absolutely perfect. And, a huge thanks to David Pod, particularly at Barclays, for enabling that support, really.
I mean, that is great support, and it's a great location. I've been upstairs, and I've got to say, there is a wow factor there.
It is.
So when you actually go up there, and you do feel like you're actually coming to a really good place, don't you?
Yes, and there are local people coming through that service that really are lost and quite scared on what their next steps will be. So actually to have a really nice environment to visit and be really well supported by not just my team, but this is a citywide partnership. So, we've got the best experts to come into play to support some of those different groups.
So the Skills Launchpad Plymouth, who's it targeted at?
So basically anyone over 16 years old is our target through the Youth Hub and the Adult Hub.
Yeah.
So in terms of helping local people, we recognise as a city that we've got particular cohorts that in the pandemic were particularly affected by some of those changes. And so we've got special provision in around sort of helping over 50s, for helping our young people that maybe care experience or have SEND, special educational needs. There's also a focus on military as an armed forces city. A big focus on how we better help those service leavers to transition into careers post their services and also support for their families as well. So our delivery is kind of multifaceted. We've got job shops, we do like mini recruitment events in there as well. We support employers and training providers to come and kind of match and meet local potential candidates as well. So it's a really exciting, ever-changing environment.
And now you're gonna add the Employer Hub.
Yes.
So that's been launched on the 28th of February at Borington Park Golf Club, 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning.
Perfect.
Tell us a bit about that.
Perfect. So at the same time as putting together Skills Launchpad Plymouth for local people, I recognised back in 2020 the same issues actually are just as valid for employers, particularly our smaller to medium-sized companies that are really busy day to day. We know as a city we've got lots of SMEs which perhaps haven't got a big, well-supported HR department that sometimes, skills, employment, funding, it's an ever-moving beast. So how do you keep up on top of things? And so even back then, and you'll remember, Jonathan, because you're involved in some of those conversations, I really wanted to create a kind of menu for local employers and to simplify anything linked to skills, training in relation to kind of upskilling your workforce. We know retention is a particularly difficult issue, and kind of actually how could we skill up our current workforce to help them deliver what the business needs in addition to also recruiting new people as well. So a kind of focus on the workforce, how we could do more to enthuse them, develop those skills, make sure leadership and management skills, digital skills, numeracy. We've got a big multiply programme in the city at the moment, a real chance for local people to improve their capabilities in maths and apply that in the workplace. But if you're a local employer, you may not know that. And the other side of it is we know that recruitment is a massive challenge. We can see the thousands of job vacancies that go up every month in the city. Where are these people coming from, seriously? And it's kind of trying to help this whole demand and supply jigsaw puzzle of skills on, what our needs of our employers are, what the needs of our sectors are, not just today, but looking forward 2, 3, 5, 10 years. What do investments like the Freeport mean for the city, and what do we need to do to gear people up to make sure we've got the skills to actually deliver some of those initiatives? And so the Employer Hub basically has 2 clear focuses. One's on recruitment solutions. So it's about locally, if I'm an employer recruiting for a position, who can I go to? So we all do what we've always done, but there are also lots of cohort groups that perhaps are untapped at the moment. But we know as a city, we've got people available for work in some of those areas, but we're just not connecting things as well as we could do. So we're looking at how we can help employers navigate that. Who do I go to? How can the job centre help me with this? How can I get hold of some kind of services?
Apprenticeships,
apprenticeships,
isn't it?
and apprenticeships, could be a new recruit to your business. It could be a young person. It could be an older person with more experience, or you could have an apprenticeship in your current workforce. So somebody already employed by you could be an apprentice, and it's kind of, again, as an employer, you may not know that's all accessible. So there's a recruitment solutions focus, and there's also a skills and training focus, which again, how do you do more with the people that you've got, and how do you invest, and how do you encourage lifelong learning, and how do you recognise that actually skilling up your people is a really good thing to do to improve productivity, keep your competitive position, and frankly, keep hold of your really good people.
Definitely.
I got to say, wow, isn't it? So,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
you,
amazing.
and you mentioned retention.
Yeah.
Okay, so important. Okay,
huge.
because it's a lot easier to upskill and retain someone, and certainly get them excited to come into work than go and find someone new and invest all that time to get them up to that level.
Definitely. And what we don't want to do is people just move around and, the time and the money and the energy it takes to find new recruits and onboard them, induct them, performance manage. It's kind of like, actually, if we could grow and develop our existing workforces really well in the city and then bring in our young people, and tap into cohorts, promote Plymouth as a city of coming to live and work and play and grow the city's population that we know that we want to do, that's when that will really work.
But you're solving a really great problem, because there's a high percentage of people coming into business that are turning up to business every day who are disengaged than engaged. Twice as many people turn up to work disengaged. So you're providing a solution for the employer to actually get those people back into engagement.
Yeah, and also...
And feeling valued.
Feeling valued, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of employers, rightly, undertake appraisals and, one-to-ones and all of that. And how many of those plans are actually supported and taken forward in that way? And how much do we invest in our current workforce? Appreciate, we're all busy. We've all got our day jobs. But we've also got, an army of people, really talented people that... frankly, there are some quite clever ways to retain them. So through the Employer Hub, what we want to do is raise awareness, educate our local employers that there's a wealth of provision available. Much of it is free as well.
Yeah.
So although an employer may need to allow time for development, there's a chance that these individuals could become better at their jobs and faster at their jobs, and actually bringing in new ideas to the business to transform how you run processes and systems and deliver your services and make your products. And I kind of think, that kind of investment is a really important part. And that's what we want to enthuse through the Employer Hub. It is a virtual service. It is a kind of come and help yourself and find what might be useful for you. Pick out what you need. And it goes back to you don't know what you don't know. And I think local employers will be surprised just on the breadth of available things they could tap into today, that much of it's not going to cost them anything, that they've overlooked. And it's just because we're all busy and we haven't got time to look at all the individual provider websites and keep up to date with everything. So this is going to be a one-stop shop for our local employers to come and find out about all the recruitment solutions available in the city, to make an informed decision about perhaps you've never taken on an ex-offender before. Maybe you've never considered a young person that may need additional support needs. You may have never thought about actually some flexibility on your contracts and your working hours to accommodate someone that might have caring responsibilities. But there's a wealth of people untapped in our communities in and around the city of Plymouth that could fill some of these job roles and could have some brilliant talent to bring. So this for me is, we've got the Youth Hub and the Adult Hub bringing people through. This is about ensuring that the employers recognise that there's all this untapped talent potentially to fill some of those job roles, and there's a brilliant chance with so many different pathways to develop people's careers. Just because you've done an apprenticeship or you've got your degree and you're in a company, it shouldn't stop there. That continuing professional development is really important. And if we can inspire our employers to be thinking that way and putting it in their business plans, it's a win-win all round.
So the key thing you're giving employers is, because during COVID, work ways have changed, haven't they?
Yes.
So what you're giving them is choices, aren't you?
Yeah.
And educating them how to take those choices to deliver the services they want to their clients.
Definitely. I mean, we've got all these job vacancies. Where are we going to find those skilled people realistically to fill those? So we've just got to think differently and a bit creatively on some things. And as you mentioned, working from home is now a massive possibility. So for some local people that might have health issues or disabilities, that perhaps actually getting on a bus, travelling to an office, managing a full day at work, that might not be possible. But given the ability to work from home actually becoming disability confident as an employer could open up an army of people that would otherwise be overlooked. So I think this is really exciting. Putting 100%. Together all the content makes you realise that there are more things that we could be thinking about as a city that really utilises so many more individuals that may be kind of feeling a bit left behind and a bit excluded from some of these opportunities. And if we truly work together through Skills Launchpad Plymouth as a city, and we've got a big push on supporting local people, and we've got a big push on supporting our local employers and making those connections, and part of this package will also involve offers of free CPD for employers. So if you've never taken on a young person and that's got, I'm really not sure, or you're thinking about taking on an apprentice for the first time, or as I said, some of the cohorts we've discussed, we want to put together some support packages for employers to go, these are the things you need to think about.
Yeah, give them some confidence.
Yeah.
So on the 28th of February,
yes,
all right, at Borington Park Golf Club, between 8 and 10, all right, for any business owner can turn up to learn more.
Need to register.
They need to register.
If they want a breakfast, they need to register.
Yeah, that's for the bacon bath and the coffee, isn't it?
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock, I'll be there on time.
Yeah.
And if it's free food, I'm there.
And you're speaker, so I'm glad you are coming.
I will be speaking, yeah. So the other thing was that we will put a link on this podcast and so forth.
Yes.
So if people do want to register, they can come there. But there's a limited amount, isn't there? It's about we can only take 80 people.
Yes.
We've already got well over 40.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
quick.
So I'd
first
work
come,
out.
first served.
Absolutely.
So get on really quickly.
Yeah, fabulous event.
So as soon as you can, click on the link, register. It'd be great to see it, and try and get to the bacon before I get there.
Yeah, and I think especially if you're in charge of HR in your companies, doesn't matter what size, particularly our SMEs, that's really our target audience for
this.
Well,
accountants and lawyers would be good too, aren't
perfect.
they? Because they know a lot of businesses and they know how to give value to those businesses, don't they?
Yeah.
So one key question is, okay, we have the launch on the 28th.
Yes.
And those people who turn up, but there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be able to turn up because they've missed the boat, or they've just not been able to
they missed the breakfast.
The breakfast, and so how are you going to get the message out to the rest of the community?
Yeah, so we are, alongside this, cooking up a pretty strong comms campaign. It will be mainly, we're going to use a lot of online targeted through social media in particular, and target directly our SMEs in the city. Yeah. But rather than just a kind of, we're launching the employer hub, what we want to do is use some really interesting animations on almost the employer hub, with different messaging around recruitment solutions and skills and training, and to resonate with employers, because you want them then to click onto the website. So it has to be about benefits, it has to be about what's in it for you, and it has to be kind of results.
It's a call to action, isn't it?
Yeah, call to action, solutions focused. And then what we're cleverly working up now is how do we almost ping up about Employer Hub, but also some animation then on taking you into the website. So it's almost a bit of a snapshot on what's in there, to sort of lure people into thinking, actually, that looks quite interesting. And we need to check that out. So as far as I know, this doesn't exist in any other city.
It's amazing.
In the UK. This is the first time
people
we've brought this together.
They're going to come to you and say how.
We've had lots of calls. I was on with the West of England local authority the other week, and they were like, tell us, how are you doing this? And we're winning awards, and it's just fantastic. And what we need now, and what we really want, is our local employers to wrap right around Skills Launchpad Plymouth. Tell us if there's anything missing. We're not going to get everything right on the launch event. This is going to be a live development. Nothing stays still. There's always new initiatives. But we want this to be, an up-to-date, really impartial space for employers to come and find out what they should know about, and then they can choose to take forward anything they're particularly interested in. We just haven't had it before.
No.
Well, I know for a fact Stuart Elford of Devon Chamber, Devon and Plymouth Chamber of Commerce, he'll be 100% behind you. I know, through being leader of the Federation of Small Business Plymouth, we'll get the FSB behind you and promote it that way. Yeah. We'll get it out to as many people, but it's not just one message. No. It's got to be continuous. It has. Possibly over the next 3 months, and just keep reinforcing, the good and so forth. Yeah. So how will you measure success?
So one of the things that I like is when people come back for more, because that tells you everything you need to know, really. So obviously numbers on the website, following the pages and what traction is the hard stuff. But I really want to hear from employers about the things that really worked for them.
Yeah.
All the things that they think we could do some more work on. And really, this is phase one. So I want that feedback and I want that contact. And I'm also keen to collect some testimonials on businesses that went, wow, I knew nothing about working with the job centres. And now I've created links and now I'm in promoting and I've recruited. I kind of want to know what's happened as an outcome.
Case studies.
Some case
Really
studies
powerful.
on kind of what's really happened. And
Great.
this stuff does work. And that's what we'll start publicising. So I think it's about bringing more employers wrapped around it, monitoring that and tracking it on the stats side of things. But to me, it's about relationships and it's about an employer going, this is great. That would be music to my ears. Or, Emma, actually, how can I get into Skills Launchpad Plymouth? How can I meet these young people? How can you help me connect with over 50s or military service leavers? All the things you're talking about, I recognise I've missed this. I completely miss these talents. How can I do more of it? So those are the questions I want to hear.
Yeah.
Love it.
Adriana, have you ever done a podcast with someone with so much energy as Emma?
You're a natural.
So can I ask you,
Amazing.
are you a Duracell or a Never Ready?
On the battery aisle.
I'll tell you, the battery, does the batteries ever go low at all? I've never known you at a low ebb.
No, well, I feel
You never
really
do,
privileged to
So
do the
what do you
work
do
I
for fun? Because,
So in between
Yeah.
all this busyness,
Yeah.
so one of my clear ways of unwinding is being by water. So
Nice. And we're in the right place in Plymouth.
if I need to clear my head or have a break, I live luckily moments from Plymouth Hoe, so that's one of my favourite yomping grounds. You'll quite often find me up there,
Brilliant.
wandering around, beach walking. If I
You
need
got to come sea swimming with me off Plymouth
I
High.
knew you'd say that.
Oh, he's.
Got to do it, Emma.
I love swimming, but I'm more of an indoors warm
And we have
water
that
kind of
facility in
girl.
Plymouth as well.
I know, but you may have to drag me out. I'd be up for that in the
Yeah,
warmer months.
in the
She
warmer
says.
months.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's all recorded.
Well, if I can make my
Sticks
wife
in the
swim
warmer
in the warmer months, we can make you swim.
I did go out in August last year, and I
Well,
did
just to
stand
let
on
you-
one of the new platforms.
Oh,
Emma,
there.
that's when
pumpkins.
the water's warm. It's warm all the way up to October.
Yeah.
It's freezing at the moment, I can tell you.
Yeah, I definitely
Maybe
wouldn't
skip
go
it for now.
anywhere near it now. But okay, that sounds like a challenge to me
Yeah.
then.
Full of challenges.
Oh, it sounds lovely. And it's clear that you're so passionate about what you do.
Thank
And it's
you.
been really, really amazing to hear more about it today. So yes, thank you very much for joining us, Emma. Thank you for listening and perhaps watching the podcast. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you,
you for the
Adriana. And thank
invitation.
you very much, Emma. That was really full of information. We might have to, replay it a number of times to get all the information you've given us.
I'm sure I've missed lots as well. But
No, I don't think you have.
No, you covered everything
You
really
covered
well.
everything.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
invite.
Thank you.